Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right, and we are live. Today we have with us Lee Yoder. Lee is a practicing physical therapist and was a practicing physical therapist when he realized his true passion was building his own business and investing in real estate. He has taken his passion and considerable action to quickly build a portfolio with several small apartment buildings. Lee is the founder and visionary behind Threefold Real Estate Investing, and he's committed to forging a path that will generate incredible wealth and opportunity for all involved. Lee, thank you very much for hopping on the show today. How are you?
I'm doing great. I really appreciate you having me on, Gabe. It's a real honor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To get us started, why don't you tell the guests or everybody listening and watching, you are the guest. To everybody here with us today, tell them who you are, what you do, and how you got started in real estate in the first place.
Yeah, so I'll just take it back up. I went to school to be a PT. There's a story behind that, but I won't bore you with the details. But yeah, come out as a physical therapist. Did outpatient physical therapy for a little bit, which was fun, but you work some later evenings. We were starting our family, so we had just had our first child, and so I was didn't love the schedule. So I actually pursued home health physical therapy, which is where you go into people's homes. And the great thing about that is you get to make your own schedule. So I was very flexible, got to make my own schedule, really wasn't working that many hours either. So it was a great job for my wife and for my family. And I was just bored out of my mind with it. It's just like kind of it's easier physical therapist, an easier job. So it was just boring. It wasn't challenging, wasn't fulfilling. So the company I was with actually was a staffing company, and they asked me to come in as the clinical director. So I jumped at that opportunity. Just more of a challenge, more excitement, something different. So came into the office and really started climbing the corporate ladder and got to a point where I was doing no physical therapy anymore. So totally on the corporate side, really enjoying my job. I mean, I was really with a partner and actually works with me today. But we were building out a division for this company. It was a startup company here in Cincinnati, Ohio. A startup staffing company doing very well. We were building out a division of that on the home health therapy side for staffing, and we actually had our own therapist. So now I'm really enjoying my job. It was a little stressful, but I kind of like that because it was challenging, it was fulfilling. But now my wife, hated my job. It wasn't conducive for the family. We had two young kids now, so now the job's good. Family life's not great. So actually, my partner at the time that was helping me building the division, he kind of turned me on to real estate the first time. Gave me some kind of random book, but it just sparked my interest. That all works really well with how I think anyway. So it was a natural thing for me. And then obviously, read Rich Dad Poor Dad, kind of started down the rabbit hole. And so I thought, all right, kind of formulated a plan of, all right, I'll leave the corporate side. I'll go back to home health physical therapy, which is very flexible, great for the family. I'm going to be bored out of my mind though. So I'll get into real estate. And that's basically what I did 4 years ago. And it really worked out well. I had a buddy from church that he's full-time in real estate. And I kind of met with him before I left the corporate job. And I was kind of, building up this idea in my mind and talked to him. And he said, well, is there any way you could do your job from home? Is there any way you could, be more flexible? And the answer really was no. But that kind of helped me to get the idea, okay, well, but what if I went back to doing home health physical therapy where I do have the flexibility? Because that was kind of his point, is like, can you be flexible to start this side hustle? And when you've got a really busy corporate job, for me, the answer was no. Like, could I have? Yes. I think I would have
But you
lost
also have your
yes,
family,
exactly.
all these other things
Yeah,
that are.
it was already bad. My wife already was wanting me to be home more. Actually, my wife stays at home with the kids. She's a nurse, and she was working PRN at the time, which means just as needed, so maybe once every couple of weeks. But that really makes things more difficult. Like, we have more flexibility in our lives because she wasn't working, but yet she kind of needed me home more often because she was home all day. So, working late means she's working late, right? Like, means she's doing a 10-hour day with 2 babies at home. So, so my friend, and I just say all that, Gabe, for any other listeners that might say, well, how could I, transition from a very busy corporate job where I don't have time for a side hustle. I don't know what that looks like for everybody, but when my friend got my gears turning, then I was able to formulate a plan to say, okay, as a physical therapist, I'm going to pursue this route in physical therapy, which will allow me to have that side hustle. So again, that's what I did 4 years ago. And it's really worked out well. We started out just flipping a house. Like a lot of people, it it didn't turn out well as far as like time. I mean, I sold my wife on the dream of like,
that's the story with those flips, man.
Yeah, right.
Get pulled in by HGTV, and then you look at the sheet and you're like, what the hell? Where's hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Well, yeah, exactly. I love watching those shows and going, yeah, the house looks great. I'm sure you spent like $200,000 on that rehab, like not 50 or whatever. But, no, but financially we did fine. Financially we did well. So, I was doing a lot of the work myself. So at the end of the flip, it was like, see, babe, I told you, real estate's great. We're going to make money. And she's like, yeah, see, I told you, it's consuming. And it's just like you being back at the corporate job. Yeah. Right. So that was our experience with the flip. So moved on from that and got a duplex. And basically,
real quick. Can you move your mic a little bit closer to your mouth? Sure. It sounds like you're getting some reverb there. So you might.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll get that closer.
Perfect. There you go. Cool. Keep going.
So next thing we did was we got a duplex and flipped that. And because we had a little more cushion, we had a little more experience, I hired out more help. So that went much better. And now my wife's kind of buying, okay, like this could work. So I'm still working full time, but very flexible, but flipped the duplex. We did have renters in it for a little bit. So got a little taste of passive income through rentals and really liked that, but just didn't like managing it. I didn't like being a landlord. So from there, I got much more serious about multifamily real estate. So this was about maybe a year and a half ago. I started going to the local, like the Cincinnati REIA, and they had an apartment syndication focus group. So I joined that, and I had a great mentor there, Mark Hutton, that runs that. He started teaching me a lot, about multifamily. So just about a year ago, well, it was a little over a year ago, I started, looking into it, just finding deals online, underwriting them and finding one that was, close enough to make an offer on. Then about a year ago, we got our first 16 unit, and then kind of in rapid succession, we got an 8 unit and a 10 unit. And then I've kind of spent the last year basically just repositioning those 3 properties.
I love that. And I love your story because I'm sure, I was the same way when I got started. I was in corporate. I worked as a management consultant. And I know there's just tons of people out there who are, they're in their corporate job. They probably read what I call the real estate Bible, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I need to start taking a tally of the number of people who said they got started because they read that book.
It's incredible. It really is incredible.
It's a lot. But yeah, I love your story. I love that you were in corporate. You still are in corporate. And you saw this opportunity to jump into real estate. You really liked the idea. It sounds like you tried some things that didn't fit the kind of the lifestyle that you were looking for. You tried flips, and I'm with you on that. I have nothing but respect for flippers out there, but you guys are killers. I can't do that.
Yep, it's a full-time job.
Absolutely. So then it sounds like you moved fairly quickly into multifamily. Sounds like you did your first flip 4 years ago, and just a year ago, you got your 16 unit and then 8 and a 10 unit. So kind of take us to that period, how did you went from single families to multifamily 18 unit? That's a commercial property. How did you go about finding that deal and financing the deal?
Yeah. I moved kind of switched positions, switched jobs 4 years ago. Didn't buy the first flip till 3 years ago. But yeah, basically the timeline is right. And the whole time, Gabe, I've been reading, like you said, read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then quickly I'm down that rabbit hole and I'm listening to all the podcasts, reading everything. So over the past 4 years, I've been doing that. That's another thing about home health physical therapies. I'm driving around all the time, so I got tons of time to listen to books on days.
All the podcasts.
Yeah, right, all of them. So I say that to say that early on, I knew I wanted to get into multifamily. That was always my goal. It just seemed like everybody I'd listened to, not everybody, but so many guys that I really respected that I heard were like, yeah, I started out small and then I got into multifamily. So
very popular. Yep.
Yeah, right. So I just still kind of felt like I had to start small. So, why I did the flip and then just the duplex. But then I'm like, okay, I feel like I've done enough. I want to go ahead and get into it. I'm not going to keep wasting time. If I want to get into multifamily, I'm going to head that way. So yeah, once I joined the RIA and kind of had a mentor there, I just felt more comfortable about just moving down that path. And that's kind of how I operate. I would really encourage other people to operate that way. I mean, if you don't know how to buy, a commercial property and you just think that's really daunting, it was for me. But I just say, like, just start walking in that direction. I mean, figure out the first step, then figure out the second step, figure out the third step. I had somebody interview me the other day and like, yeah, sound like, you like me and a lot of people really didn't know what you were doing on your first deal. Like,
yeah, no, for sure, man.
Right?
The first deal, you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm doing it. I'm going to get this done.
Yeah. And I did have a mentor that really helped, but I mean, he wasn't a paid mentor. He wasn't helping me that much. It was really me just kind of going along, asking him questions here and there. But yeah, I found that deal. Gabe, to answer one of your questions was it was on LoopNet. So two of the three properties I found are on LoopNet, right there where anybody else can find them. Actually, the third, the 8 unit, was on the MLS, listed by a residential, realtor. Some people will say that's a good way to find a deal, and that was definitely my experience on this property. Was really felt like somebody selling a commercial property that they didn't really know how to value it, and the realtor as well. So really got a great deal on that one. Now we've done a lot to it, and he just had rents really low, but the value add was so easy because it was really just increasing rents was all it needed. So they've all been online, all been listed. Both of the properties that I found on LoopNet had been there over a year, and they were just priced too high. So just came in and made an offer at the price that made sense for me.
Yep.
And because these guys had been trying to sell it for so long, both of them had been under contract multiple times. So now you got the sellers just going, I just want to, like, the next time we get under contract, let's just sell. So, I come in and I said, well, if you can give me this price, I will close, and that just had a conversation with them, and I'm not going to back out. I'm not going to, mess around with you guys like this. I'll close if we can, get this deal. And both of them came down to that price. That's how I got those deals.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you said that because we've experienced that quite a few times where, their asking price is, let's say, $1 million, and it's definitely not worth $1 million. And we go in there, we do our analysis, our due diligence. We're like, hey, we can give you $750,000 for this property. I know you've had it on the market for quite a while, so if you're interested, we can move forward right now. And a lot of people will say yes, even though it's 25% lower than their asking price.
Right.
If they've had that lead time up to the point where you ask them, they're probably tired. They're like, hey man, I'm tired of just having this sit on the market, going through people, making offers, leaving. And they'll just say yes. And that all comes down to building the rapport with the seller. It's so important to build a relationship with the seller because you never know what can come out of that, 1, 2, 3 months down the line. So that's awesome that you guys were able to find an overvalued property and get it at a price that made sense for you.
Yeah.
Cool. So it sounds like you do force appreciation. It's hard to say. You force appreciation with the multifamily that you're buying. So you're buying to fix and increase rents, and then do you guys refinance out, or are you selling them?
Well, I'll tell you right now, actually, Gabe, we do have one for sale already. The first one I bought, just for like right out a year, the 16 unit. We've, nearly doubled the value of it. And it's a seller's market, right? It's hard for me to not, we could refinance and do all that. I've got an opportunity to pay actually, because of COVID, because of how little we were working. My wife actually quit entirely this year. She hadn't worked in like 3 or 4 months because of COVID, so I actually went in and quit. I was super low, so we're in a position this year where we could pay 0% taxes on any long-term gains we have this year because of what tax bracket we'll be in. So I don't even have to worry about doing a 1031. I can just sell these properties and pay no taxes on my gains.
Damn, that's killer.
So because of that this year, because of where we're at in the market, the prices guys are willing to pay, it just feels like the time is right. So we may unload 1 or even 2 of the other ones as well. And then I'm just praying I'm timing it right, and I'm hoping by, some of the smarter guys I listen to are saying, man, by the end of the year, by early next year, things are going to look different. It might kind of become more of a buyer's market. So that's what I'm hoping for, Gabe. Turn around. I'll be ready to buy it up.
I've heard the same thing, and we're preparing for the same thing. So hopefully we're right. You never know with markets, though.
No, you don't.
Things can change. Cool. So you found them online. How'd you finance them?
Yeah, for these, we're in the Midwest, so we're not buying things for over $1 million on these. So kind of smaller loans. So we just did simple joint ventures or just an LLC, and just brought in family and a close friend. So I just had 3 different investors on these 3 deals, and I kind of had them bring the money. I'd bring some money sometimes. Actually, only on 1 deal did I bring money. The other 2, there was a family and a close friend bringing the money, and then we're just splitting up the equity between us. On each one, I'm getting like 50% for finding deal, and then because I've put it. I mean, I even have done some of the work, not paid myself for it, but just been very hands-on. I'm basically the GC on these deals that we've done so much. So I'm putting in a ton of time, a ton of effort on these. I'm the asset manager, obviously, but they're bringing the money, and that's how we split it. Just a simple LLC joint venture.
Cool. I love it. Well, it sounds like you guys, you got a good, it's always good when you don't have to go to, put out an actual syndication or anything like that. You can just bring in the money from friends and family and get things closed.
Yes.
Yep. So it's great you're able to do that. Well, hey man, this episode, it goes so quick. We are nearing the end, but before we do, I'm going to ask the quick question round. And that is starting out with, looking at my list here. There we go. So if you could go back to the Lee who just started out, say 3 years ago, doing his first flip, go up to that Lee and say, hey man, this is one piece of advice I want to give you before, for going forward in real estate. What would you tell Lee?
I would have started networking more when I first started out. It was really meeting a couple people like Mark that I mentioned that was running the focus group at the Cincinnati RIA that kind of became a mentor for me. I've met some other great people that have been real mentors for me. Or meeting those people was like hitting a speed burst, and shooting me forward. So if I would have worked to meet those people a year or 2 earlier, I would have, I'd just be that much further ahead of where I am now. It would just be get out there and do more networking. I just felt like, let me see what I can do on my own. And it was not that much. Once I added other people, I could do so much more. So I would have done that earlier.
Yep. I'm pretty sure everybody that's been on this show has echoed that same sentiment that they wish they would have, built relationships quicker, because real estate really is a relationship-based business. So great piece of advice. Next one. What is your favorite way to attract deals?
Right now I feel like, Gabe, that brokers are really controlling the deal flow. With it being such a seller's market, I think most people considering selling kind of know what they have, and they're going to a broker and looking to get top dollar for it. So right now, it's really been relationships with brokers. I've really enjoyed getting to know some of the younger brokers, some of the hungrier brokers that might not get some of the best deals, but that's kind of where I feel like I have a chance. So I've met some guys on bigger pockets. You can tell, by their picture that they're younger, and they're like posting all over the place, trying to be really active, I think, to try to get their business going, right? So I'm like, I'll jump in with these guys. They're trying to get their business going. I'm trying to get my business going. Maybe we can benefit from each other. They've sent me some deals that I've really had a chance at, and haven't closed on any of them. They just weren't quite what I'm looking for. Weren't that great of a deal, and we couldn't get it done. But the big time brokers that I call aren't sending me deals. So that's been my favorite way here lately.
Yep, and I've dealt with some new brokers before, and I think they're great to work with because you're right, they do got that energy, and they're hungry, they're out there, they're pushing it, and so great guys to work with. Next question: what is your favorite place to invest and why?
For right now, I would just say local. I'm in Dayton and Cincinnati. For me to feel comfortable, I really have to have the team. So right now, I have some local property management companies, especially my properties now are all kind of outside of Dayton, and I've got a property management company out of Dayton that just does a great job. So I feel like if I found any property in this area it's close enough for them to manage, I would feel very comfortable because I feel like right away I got a partner that I trust. I know what they're going to be able to do with the property, and that's the stuff I just don't want to do, and I don't want to have to worry about it so much. So right now, my favorite place is anywhere that my property management companies that I like will manage because I know right away they're going to take it on for me.
I like that actually because you want boots on the ground. You want to work with somebody that you can trust, so you don't have that worry, that anxiety that something's going to go wrong and nobody's going to be there to fix it. So, great advice, great thing to say. I think that's a good way to decide where you should be investing. Next one: habits are what make the foundation for our lives. If you could point at one habit that you feel has contributed the most to your success so far, what is that habit?
For me, I'm an early riser. I get up early and get things going early in the morning. You hear a lot of people talk about that. That's something I actually started. It's interesting because I started it when I was on the corporate side, and I was putting in a lot of hours. And I thought, like, how can I put in more hours but not take away from my family? So I started getting up at 4:30 in the morning, and I've just continued that. So even when I left and didn't need to do that anymore, I've just continued to do that. And with the real estate, it's allowed me to get up and get some things done. In real estate. And then one thing I'll just throw in with some of that time, you got to try to be productive with that time. And what I've done lately is kind of what I mentioned first, Gabe, is the networking. So I get up early and I try to do some networking by just Bigger Pockets is a great one. Just posting on there. I've met so many people. I actually started a podcast. That's where I'll find people to come on my podcast, stuff like that. So getting up early and networking early in the morning on sites.
Killer. I love it. I actually didn't know you had a podcast, so it's cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you on. Next question about books. I'm a big bookie. And so if you could give a recommendation for a real estate book and a non-real estate book, what is that recommendation?
Yeah, sure. I already mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think that's a place to start. And then if you're wanting to get into apartment syndication, it's a local legend. So I'll jump at Joe Fairless. This book here, The Best Ever Apartment Syndication. Joe Fairless is a stud. And that book right there, I mean, it's a textbook. It's not, a really fun read, but man, that's going to give you step by step how you can close big apartment deals, which is my end goal. So yeah, that's pretty much why I started the podcast. That's why I got my website going, doing all the networking, just following Joe's playbook right there. So I would go after that. If you're interested in apartment syndication, if you're not, I wouldn't read that because it's just a textbook for that. So it's not good. For anything else, but non-real estate. This is something that it's important for me. This book because it's one of my struggles. Something I think God has really been working on with me. It is just like consistency and perseverance. So I think in real estate you got to have two things. You got to kind of have that 10x view, like Grant Cardone talks about. You got to be able to imagine doing big things, but then you've got to be able to, I think, do the compound effect, which is the book I would recommend by Darren Hardy. And that book, basically the concept is like just doing all the little things and being really consistent with it. And then over time, you'll see these tremendous results. Right? Oh, yeah. So it's so true. And it's so hard. I mean, at least for me, like I want to that's why flipping's fun because you can just get it started right now. Right. And you're like seeing little wins every day and seeing it transform. When you're trying to buy an apartment building or something, I mean, and you guys have closed on some big deals, like you'll work for 6 months and see basically nothing, right? It feels like nothing has happened. And then all of a sudden you get it and then you take off, right? And it's that's the compound effect. That's like compound interest. It's this exponential growth curve of nothing happens for so long and then you take off. So I think that book just does a good job of explaining that concept. And if you can get that and really stick to it, I don't think there's any way you're not going to be successful.
Absolutely. And now that I haven't read that book, but I like the theme because you're right. I mean, if you just do the little things over and over and over again every day, you're never going to be like, oh, I just did it. It's just going to feel like another thing that you did, same as yesterday. But what you don't see is the long run. You don't see, the months of work that you've been putting in, and it's been accumulating over time. And all of a sudden, maybe 6 months, a year down the road, you're going to be like, holy shit, I'm here. I
Yeah.
made it.
Oh,
And
right. For sure.
it
Yep.
works like that. So it's a great book recommendation. I'm gonna have to pick it up myself. Um, where was I? There we go. Tools and apps. I think we have too many tools and apps in our lives, but some of them actually do contribute to what we do. So if you could give one recommendation for a tool or an app that you feel actually does contribute to your life, what is that?
Well, I'm literally probably the last person to ask. I'm like embarrassingly bad. I should not be allowed to be called a millennial because of how bad I am with it. But like, so this is how bad I am. It was just recent that I started keeping my schedule on my phone. So that's what I would say is my
That's
recommendation.
killer.
But
Your calendar. That's your tool. That's fine.
yeah, I'm sure I'm the only one that's not doing that. So this is not helpful for anyone because everybody's already doing this. But I literally was keeping a paper calendar until like a few months ago, and now I'm doing it on my phone. I'm like, wow, this is so like my phone gives me reminders and it's all right there. And yeah, it's
Awesome, man.
slick.
Hey,
So if
welcome to the
you're one of the
21st
other,
century.
yeah, thank you. If you're one of the other two people out there that's not already doing that, start doing that.
I love it. I love it. Cool. Well, hey, you've given us tons of wisdom about real estate investing. I'm sure there's people out there that want to reach out and get in contact with you. What's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, I would love for people to reach out to us. Like I said, I do have a podcast that we just got started. Yeah, I'd love to have you on, Gabe. So we'll have to talk about that later. But it's called Threefold Real Estate Investing Podcast. And then my website's the same, but it's actually it's abbreviated. So threefold REI as in real estate investing.com. Threefoldrei.com. Email, very simple, info at threefoldrei.com. So yeah, reach out to me on any of those. I'm on Bigger Pockets a lot, so feel free to reach out to me on there. My LinkedIn, look up Lee Yoder. So I wouldn't mind anybody calling me. We have a phone number on our website, stuff like that. So threefoldrei.com, info at threefoldrei.com.
Perfect. Threefoldreo.com. Reach
Yep.
out. I'm sure Lee would love to hear from you. So, again, Lee, thanks for showing up. For everybody who's here on this episode with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. Again, the best way to support the show is just to subscribe, like, share with your friends and family. Hope you guys have a good week, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the Investors Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automagically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investors Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesalers Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day and even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.